Nintendo, what in the world are you possibly doing? I'm actually confused about, for every day now, for the last week, I've been able to make a video, if not multiple videos every single day, about how they're botching the Nintendo Switch 2 with their bad statements, with their weird up-priced games, with the fact that it really does seem like Nintendo does not like their audience, doesn't understand their audience, and I feel like today's two news stories are just confusing. Let's talk about the fact that the Zelda Breath of the Wild version you can buy for the Switch 2 actually sucks, and I'm shocked to say that, and also they have decided that the new GameCube controller release, it's getting downgraded over the standard version of the GameCube controller. More Switch 2 controllers are basically bricked for $100 price tag. Let's talk. I'm actually getting frustrated. Let's get into it. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. My house currently has a big hole in the roof. They're fixing it, so I had to rent an office for a day. Check out this backroom casting couch. Okay, so I want to start with the fact that this truly just blew my mind when this came out 50 minutes ago. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Switch 2 edition does not include the expansion pass. Now, let me explain why this is. Honestly, it's disgusting. So, when Breath of the Wild first came out 8 years ago, it completely took the world by storm because it was an open world Zelda. People were saying, finally, the Skyrim effect. It really showed the power of the Nintendo Switch. It was honestly such a big, cool game with the memes and the Korok seeds and the mysteries. But after the initial release, we got a very big expansion pass with new vehicles, new characters, new lore, new extra stuff. And even a new difficulty mode called Hero Mode. They decided that for the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, which, reminder, is more expensive. That was $60 on the Nintendo Switch 1. This new version is $70 on the Nintendo Switch 2, even though it's been 8 years, and they just confirmed it does not include the Switch expansion pass, meaning you're literally paying $10 more for better frame rate, better resolution, and literally nothing else. Now, some Nintendo fans are trying to defend this, saying, oh, who would have thought? I mean, my thing is that it is almost a standard in the entirety of the gaming industry at this point that if you're doing a remaster, a port, an upgrade, you include the content. If you're buying The Last of Us on PlayStation 3, it got some very good DLC called Left Behind. You buy the remastered edition on PlayStation 4, what does it include? Oh wait, that's right, all the DLC. The fact that they just decided to basically cut content. This, literally every other game I can possibly think of. Oh, you're re-releasing Borderlands. Of course it's got the DLC. Oh, you're re-releasing Saints Row, the Saints Row collection. It includes the DLC. This is the first time I can literally ever remember where a company is taking their own game, repackaging it for full price. I truly cannot get over that. $70, and it's not including the expansion pass content. Honestly, this is the kind of stuff that it really annoys me when people try to defend it. I do see some comments where people saying, well, it's still worth it. I'm glad I'm gonna buy it. To me, it's worth that upgrade. I saw this tweet by RGT85 where he says, look man, it's just common courtesy. $70 for an 8-year-old game, the least you can do is include that extra content, that stuff that basically made a good game better. I feel like Nintendo is very much just losing focus on the fun, on the games, on the stuff that's supposed to just make it, hey, I like to pop it in, to play it, to explore it, to have that fun. They're just kind of thinking about the profit over any sort of consumer trust, of rewarding fans. They're just basically saying, hey, screw you, pay me. And I want to additionally say, I still stand by the fact that I think this should be free. I think that if you have the Nintendo Switch 1 game, I think all the upgrades, 100% I'm serious, all the upgrades should just be free. It's a graphics patch. Why the hell am I paying for a graphics patch? I mean, look, PlayStation's pretty greedy at times. Even PlayStation's not doing that. But this other story has me actually confused because it literally just boggles the mind. Now, this just came out a couple minutes ago, and everybody is still kind of reacting to it. The Nintendo Switch GameCube controller that they're releasing for the Switch 2, people are very, very, very excited for it because there is definitely a massive fan base that specifically thinks this is the best controller of all time. It definitely takes some getting used to, kind of adapting to the GameCube controller's funky buttons and odd placement, but once you get used to it, this is a very, very uniquely fun controller. But what they're doing is, they have said officially now that the GameCube controller that you can buy for the Switch 2 doesn't work on anything except GameCube games. And again, this controller is probably going to be $80, $90, or $100. A lot of the other Switch 2 controllers are $100 with tax, with shipping. So you're telling me that there is going to be a $100 controller, which is a re-release of a controller from 20 years ago, that is actually worse than the one from 20 years ago. Now, let me talk about why that's a big deal. So, in case you haven't played Super Smash Bros., Smash Bros. Is literally the biggest fighting game of all time. The highest selling, it has the most tournaments, it's got the most hype. It's not my favorite, but I definitely have probably played more hours of Smash Bros. Than any other fighting game combined. It's just kind of the things that's always on at parties, and you go there and you get your butt kicked and play some Samus or do some YouTube combos and stuff. And by far, the version that's made people the most endlessly addicted is Smash Bros. Melee on the GameCube. That game was just so influential. Playing it with a GameCube controller has been the pinnacle of play. People have basically said, yes, this is the best controller for Melee play. In fact, Nintendo knows that. Nintendo released a version of the Switch controller that's playable on the Wii U, that was playable on the Wii, that was playable on the original Switch, but the Switch 2 version doesn't work with other games. And that's the thing. All the other versions, they worked with other games. You could play indies or RPGs because it's your damn controller. Of course, you can play whatever the hell you want because it's yours. I'm actually shocked by the fact that so many people are like, okay, another L for Switch. Just to recap, the system is overpriced, the games are overpriced, there's a button on the controller that you can't click unless you're paying a monthly fee. That's the chat button. You actually have to pay to use that. Last gen hardware, it's about as powerful as PlayStation 4, which I do think is good, won't support your current GameCube controller. You have to pay $10 to play a better version of your old games, and as of yet, there are still rabid Nintendo fans trying to defend this. The last week, I've been covering the eternal blunder of Nintendo quite a bit, and the love has been great. There's been tons of, tens of thousands of likes on the channel, tons and tons of new subscribers and stuff. It's been very overwhelming, but I kind of appreciate the fact that a lot of the most dedicated people in my audience are saying, I'm still excited about the Switch 2, but this is definitely a big giant L for the first time in my Nintendo career. This is the first time I'm seeing where they just continually feel like they have lost their way. And it is strange to see, but how do you feel about this? How do you feel about, in my opinion, the rather pathetic paid upgrades? And how do you feel about the fact that over and over again, it seems like the controllers kind of suck, just across the board? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. If you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. I hope the audio is good in here. I'll be honest, it sounds good to me, but the mic, you never know. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.